I'm on the dark website, yellow stuff. My nigga business on the head. These niggas send it in. I spent 200 on this, drop 20 on the pop. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Like 10K off of Fatty Wap. Shit is sick. I know more walking feeling sick. Little bad bitches on my dick, yeah. Give me Baba, yeah. I don't need no kicks. And they say, pull up, how you feel? Hey, shit, I'm feeling rich. I just make a move, hey. His ass getting hit.
Yeah, you know these bitches get hit, get hit. You know these bitches doing holiday. You know that your ass can get hit, get hit. If you posted a block on that funny shit, me and my nigga move hella bricks, move off white, dog shit. Fuck my gang, we spot shit. Spin the block, nigga pop him. Hey, junkies OD and all fatty, they niggas too petty. I swear they ain't ready. Hey, I thought this shit niggas
What's poppin', y'all? It's
your
your boy Skull back at it, like crack addict. I'm just chilling, going through some music, vibing. You know how that goes. Nothing too crazy. I'm trying to go live more consistently. Trying to speak my mind more consistently. You feel me? I just took my braids down, and my head feels like so much lighter. It feels so good. But I like what the braids did. You know, kept my hair out of my face, kept me a little cooler. Today in Chicago, it's like a little bit cooler too. You know, it's like chill. You feel me? It's not like super crazy right now. I think it's like 70, cloudy. And I appreciate that. I love the little kind of cloudy summer days sometimes. Sometimes it feels really nice, but sometimes it feels nice to be warm, like whatever's clever, you know? That's just how it goes, you know? But I hope y'all doing good. I'm good. I'm feeling great. Work this morning. I got a show tonight, Cafe Mustache, you know, the normal residency, Scully Moly Donut Shop. Excited to bring it back, keep that going. Collabing with my homie Wells Mattingly, super dope, talented artist who I've worked with for a long time. Definitely should check her out, man. She's multifaceted, super dope. In a group called Odd Couple, you know, with her partner. She does really dope stuff, so I'm excited to collab with her on an event. And we got some of the homies, my boy Rizzy Conway, Heavy gonna be in the building. A lot of dope performances. So tonight, Cafe Mustache, Casamigos sponsored. Shout out to Casamigos for my Migos and Casamigos. But yeah, man, everything's pretty good. You know, just been working. I guess today, you know, I wanted to rant a little bit, talk a little shit's naive, you know what I'm saying? While I'm working on my playlist, I got a big wedding this weekend going to Michigan. Battle Creek, Michigan. That's where I'm going this weekend. Should be cool, you know? It's cool. One of the homies' wedding. Shout out to Athena. They put me to work because they're my people, but I'm gonna make it lit for them. You know, it's gonna be a good time. But yeah, I guess this is what I can start my rant. This is what's kind of been on the forefront of my mind a little bit. So I'm in the process. I don't know. Everyone out there doesn't know too much about my personal life, you know? And I'm trying to be transparent, trying to be open. I always try to be, but, you know, as I try to keep growing as a DJ, as a personality, I like being transparent and being open and being able to talk and vent and, you know, be a safe space for others and to be my own safe space, you know, so I can talk. So, you know, I've been last couple of years dealing with all type of family drama, you know, all type of stuff, all over the place. And it's been, you know, challenging for sure. My mother passed in May 2021, and that was my dog. That was like my road dog, and we really understood each other a lot. You know, we had our flaws, but you know, everyone does. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has conflict. Everyone disagrees sometimes. Everybody thinks they know best or thinks they know who is best in what situations. And me and my mother, you know, we really cared and loved each other. You know, we butted heads a lot over my life, but you know, she had my back and she knew me well, and she really helped me develop to the person I am today and help cultivate what I do. And I feel like the thing is, in my opinion, a lot of my family members don't understand me. They don't get me. They don't know me. Obviously not as well as my mother because I spent a lot more time with my mother and we were very close. Um, and we did everything together. She raised me. She really pushed me and promoted me as to be a DJ, a producer, a musician. She knew I was going to be something in the music industry, and she always gave me really good advice. She was the one who told me to go to business school, to kind of cultivate whatever business ideas. She was an entrepreneur, very successful entrepreneur, owned her own business, owned the building that I'm in right now, which is High Power Learning Resource Center, aka the new kind of name I'm giving this brand is The Center. And that could be the topic of this is the center. Staying centered. That's kind of the brand I'm working on. And she had really, she was really big on education and knowledge and accumulating knowledge and school and figuring out the ways to be successful. Be able to test well, teach inner city black youth how to test, how to prepare and get ready for the real world. And she was a really big part of a lot of people, a lot of children's upbringing, and a lot of parents. She helped out a lot of parents. So I've been having some interesting family dynamics. My mother is not here in physical sense with me, and I miss her. I love her, but I understand. She's not in this physical realm anymore. She's a spirit. She's my angel, and I have every lesson she's given me, and I still get lessons. I still, think about what would Lily Goodwin do in a lot of situations, and I kind of, use my best judgment when I do. I do crazy stuff too. I do stuff that Lily Goodwin would be very, would shake her head, but she knows I'm her son, and she knows me. A lot of other people I feel like don't know me, and they make a lot of assumptions about me without really understanding. And it's like interesting dynamics. I want to shout out to my dad. It's my dad's birthday today. Shout out to Daryl Roberts. I love my dad. He's an amazing man. I really look up to him a lot. My dad is, when I was growing up, and still to this day, all my friends look at my dad and say, man, like the thing that is synonymous with my dad is cool. Like he's a cool guy. He's really cool. He's smooth. He's a Harlem dude, and he's been a really big inspiration on me as well. And yeah, I think he's doing amazing things. Follow his brand, HBCU Harlem. He's doing incredible stuff. His CEO, DKR, doing his thing. I love him to death. But we had an interesting conversation yesterday, which kind of reiterated a lot of feelings I've had, about my family and about my relationship with kind of the matriarchs of my family, like the older members, like my dad, my uncles, my older cousins, my aunts. My grandparents have all passed. My mother has passed. So these are like my matriarchs and main source of, reliance, because me and my mom rely really heavily on each other and we held each other down. And she had a lot of different circles, and I've built a lot of different circles. And it's interesting how those things kind of coincide sometimes. Sometimes they don't, which is fine. And I've just been really comfortable these last few years being on my own and like standing on my own decisions and merits. I've had a lot of help. Obviously, everyone has help. Everyone needs help. No one is like a one man show, one man army. Everybody, people like to claim like, oh yeah, I'm independent. But you're not. And for me, that's something I could really say. I feel like I have done a lot for myself. I've been a go-getter. I've matched my energy and tried to excel on my energy, excel my knowledge, excel my talents and skills and ideas and push them forward But you know, I've been inspired. I've been inspired a lot. I've attained a lot of knowledge from a lot of different people. And I think the interesting dynamic now is, you know, a lot of, I don't really assume intent. I always assume good intent. But I just feel a disconnect from a lot of my older family members. You know, they don't really understand my comeuppance. They don't understand like what level I'm at, what I do. You know, they kind of see me on social media, but they don't really know me. They don't live in my day to day life. They're not aware of my like acumen and what I do and how I think. You know, you know, when I was talking to my dad, and it seems like a lot of times when I kind of make decisions that are he considers big decisions. I make big decisions all the time. I'm moving and shaking a lot. You know, I have a business that sustains my lifestyle and my life, and I'm able to make money and live well and live a life that I enjoy. Most importantly, like I feel good, I feel content, I feel like I there's a big future. I feel like I have a bright future. I feel like my homies and my contemporaries do as well. I feel like, you know, I feel good about things. I feel like you know, as long as I keep working hard, things will continue to pan out and get better and continue to go to the next level. And I just feel like my father, I don't really know why he feels this way, but I feel like he feels like you know, I'm struggling. Like I'm going through things, and everyone struggles. Everyone has struggles, and that's normal. But I feel like I'm doing pretty good with what I'm doing. And you know, I had a conversation with him yesterday, and we talked for a long time, and it got a little heated. You know, me and my dad, we have conversations that I feel like that get heated. Like we know how to get under each other's skin, and I could tell I was getting under his skin. And I'm just kind of at the point now where I'm choosing not to let people get under my skin. I'm just like I say what I have to say, and you know I stand on it. I think about it. I digest it and digest what I really mean and try to explain it. You know, try to be there for people's understanding and their feelings. You know, I love my dad to death, but he felt like I was being disrespectful. We're having a conversation about my business, my life. One of my businesses is my mother's former building, the Hyde Park Learning Resource Center, aka the center, aka Dorchester Commons, which is a historical landmark, you know, in the city. And I've been through a lot of ups and downs in it. You know, it's been in our family for like 25 years. It's a beautiful building, three-story gray stone. It's amazing. I've housed a lot of amazing people. It's had a lot of amazing people in its doors. But when my mother passed, I was 31 years old. 31, you know, pretty much had my own place, had a two-bedroom, had started building my own community, had already started dabbling in real estate and being a landlord, being, you know, for a while, for years. I had been doing it for a long time. So a lot of people just don't understand my life experience. And, you know, they just kind of underestimate it and don't really, yeah, they're just not unaware. They're ignorant to it. So right now I'm in a process of figuring out if I want to sell my place. I'm kind of doing a lot of interesting business tactics. I've been playing the game, you know, and I can get more into that, into my finance acumen, because I worked in accounting and finance for 10 years. I have 10 years of experience under my belt, and including, not even including my schooling, that's just through my work experience. And I study it. I am very familiar and take the time to learn things. I get that from my mother. I'm very astute person. I like learning new things. I like being crafty. I like being knowledgeable. It's very important to me. It's like something I hold my hat on. And you know, I feel like my family doesn't know that about me. They don't get that about me. They kind of look at me as this wild guy who kind of don't got his shit together and is kind of all over the place and a little sporadic. My dad said verbatim that I make knee-jerk reactions when he doesn't understand how tactful I am, how much thought. But I am able, I have the capability and the acumen to do a lot of projects and complete a lot of things at the same time and be able to maneuver. And, you know, they just don't really understand that about me. And, you know, like people give me advice, they give me, you know, they tell me to connect with somebody, someone in my connection, the network. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's great. But sometimes those thoughts are a little bit wasteful, but I got time for that. Leland, what up? Leland Philpott. But, like, for example, my dad and my uncle, they're very well rounded, well versed men. And I look up to them a lot. And a lot of times they try to give me advice. They try to give me people who can do things, especially since my mother has passed. Because before that, it wasn't really that. Did it freeze? We good? I think we good. I might work on this lighting a little bit because I don't like this light. I got an idea though. But yeah, it's just been very interesting. Since my mother died, that was like a very unique situation. I was young, but I'm like, that's just a part of life. Some people's parents pass when they're younger, and that's just a part of life. It's like a curveball you don't really expect, but you have no choice to deal with it. And dealing with that was unique for me, and I try to explain that to my family that is a unique situation. I had to really grow up really quick. I didn't have the same cushion a lot of other people. And while my family feels like, that I feel like they have helped me maneuver, but I also feel like I had to learn a lot of stuff on my own. And it gave me a sense of a lot of confidence in my decision making because I feel like I've maneuvered really well. I've been able to transition through it with little resources. Being a young 31-year-old man who's in a toxic job situation, building on a budding career, and like as an entrepreneur and, as a DJ, musician, artist, consultant, just entrepreneur, doing various things. And I feel like I maneuvered well. And I have, and I continue to. But it's just a little bit of a disconnect. Like, I feel like I disconnect with my dad a lot, with my uncle a lot. They're from another generation. They're from a different generation. They do things a certain way, and I do things a certain way, and it works for me, and it works for my family. And I'm building my family, building my community, and I love what I got going on. So I just want to reiterate on that. Everybody out there, we can't do it by ourselves. We have to use our network, but you gotta have confidence in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your decisions. You have to stand on them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, me and my dad, we talked about so much, and then it was that specific thing. Me even bringing up the idea of him fathoming me, thinking about selling the building without him. Just was like so shocking for him, and it was really an emotional talk. It got very emotional, it got intense, but we got through it. It is what it is. I said what I had to say. He felt like I was being a little disrespectful by being like, "Hey, I love you, I appreciate you, but I got this. I got it under control, and I've been working. I'll talk to people, but time is money. I got a lot going on." And he took that as me saying I have too much going on, saying I have a lot going on, and I disagree. I have a lot going on because I have businesses I'm running. I have businesses that are in motion and consistent. I'm consistently booked, consistently throwing events, consistently producing, consulting, managing, and that's what I feel like kind of my family doesn't understand. They haven't wrapped their minds around that. They haven't wrapped their minds that I'm a viable young businessman, entrepreneur, multifaceted entrepreneur, with a lot of experience, been through a lot. And I can say that's one thing, a few things that I've been through that, even my uncles and cousins and aunts and my dad have never been through. And I've persevered and maneuvered and learned, I've had a lot of people, I've had people my dad has sent to me, my uncle sent to me that, just for whatever reason, they just didn't work the way I like. So I built my own team of workers and got things done. I sat too long idly trying to be, not necessarily trying to be dependent, but like when someone offers, help or advice, and I felt like it just wasn't adequate to me at that time. So I had to tighten up and get my own stuff together. And that's just something that I feel is very important, and I'm glad that I've been doing that, and I'm glad I've been standing on my decisions, and I want everybody to do the same. Learn, and don't block your blessings and your lessons, and don't be too sulking over things that happen that might be challenging. There's nothing wrong with that with little challenges, but gauge it, analyze. That's what it's all about. So shout out to my dad, shout out to my family. I love them a lot, but I just challenge them to try to get to know me more. And if not, if it's not for them, I know they have their own lives, which is fine. I have my own life as well. I have my own situations. But yeah, we had a really long talk, man. We talked a lot, and I've been like kind of thinking about it. I've been analyzing the things that we talked about, specifically about the house. Because right now, this house is my biggest asset. It's an asset that I own, technically. But also, the thing you have to understand is also was, a whole new life for me. Like when my mother passed, I had to take on her. Well, I didn't have to. I made the decision to take on her estate and listen to a lot of people and get a lot of advice. It was very challenging. It took a long time. It was a long ride. Now I'm at this part of the ride where I'm looking. I've accomplished significant amount. Now I want to take my own dreams to the next level. I've made steps as a DJ, a producer, musician, entrepreneur. I'm gonna just say entrepreneur because I have a lot of different business ventures, that I have. I have a ton. One day I heard, I was listening to some like podcast or something that was like, write down, I think it said 300 ideas that just pop in your head. Like write down 300 ideas. And I did it. I started writing down 300 ideas, and it was challenging. I was like, it was a lot of ideas, and I'm like, dang. It was challenging. So it started being like, I was writing down stuff like win a Grammy, win an Oscar, win a Pulitzer Prize, get a gold plaque, get a platinum plaque, travel to every continent, travel to every country, do a world tour, just all different type of stuff. I keep on thinking of different ideas. It's 300. It was challenging, and I don't think I even got to two. I think I was like 252 something. What the hell? Oh wow, that's crazy. Dorf Disco, who is that? Who is that? I gotta see. That's so funny. A great lover. Oh my god, remove that. Woo, that was too kinky. I'm like, I don't know who that is. But anywho, so write down those 300 ideas. Make it do what it do and stay true. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of ideas, and something that's kind of weird and morbid that I always think about is that I'll never be able to accomplish all my ideas. All my goals will never be accomplished, and I love that. You know why I love it? Because that means you're dreaming big, you're thinking big. Like in the words of the purple-headed brother, a purple bandana. He wears a purple bandana. Think big. You gotta think big, bitch. You gotta think big. You're not thinking big, bitch. You gotta think big. So I'm thinking big. I'm thinking real big, man. And one interesting thing is, since I was 31, my world was rocked. It was crazy. It was chaos. I was chaotic. I was depressed. I was going through a lot. And I was able, with the help of, people help me out a lot. Humans help me. A lot of situations help me. My career helped me. Like music helped me. My lovers, my friends, everybody. So, people help me a lot, and people inspire me, and that's the thing that I've been through in my life. Passing the transition of my mother, that really, I know that's something that could break you, but it really made me really strong, and it made challenge me in crazy, incredible ways. And I owe a lot to my mother for being such a dynamic figure to challenge me, even in her passing, and continuously, like, looking at her legacy, looking at the things she's taught me. It's been incredible. And she was my biggest supporter. I love my dad, I love my family, but my mom was there with me through the trenches. That was just real, like, and man, she saw my vision first and always, and never straight. She gave me a little tip, and she's like, "How you can do this better," and I respect it, and I still think about a lot of stuff. She didn't like some of the aspects of the music industry. She didn't like the drinking and drugs, and she's a health nut. And I'm a pretty healthy person, I try my best. I know how to be healthy. And me and my mom kind of suffer for both of that because we're smart people. We know what to do. But sometimes, I like cheating. I like cheat meals. You know what I'm saying? I like ribs. I like chicken. You know what I'm saying? I like mild sauce and fries and lemon pepper. You know what I'm talking about? But I also like, I like sweet green. I like salads. I like smoothies. I like fruit, vegetables. I'm a very multi-dimensional individual. And that's what I'm about, is multi-dimensional stuff. So basically, long story short, man, shout out to my family, but get to know me a little better, man. Get to know me. Get to be in my world. Don't just be surface level. Don't just be like, oh, yeah. Don't just think that you know more than me, which it don't matter who knows what. We can all learn from each other. We can all take advice from each other. But when I started being more independent, doing things on my own, I saw how my life changed. Independence is so key. Centered. Remember? I'm going to bring it back. Center. You have to stay centered and focused. And that's what I've done. And that's what I'm doing. I'm continuously being pulled magnetically to the center. Back to the center. And it's so important to me, what I do and my branding and my likeness and my ethos, what my brands represent. I'm just such a businessman. I am a businessman. And I'm a businessman. Shout out to Jay. Man, stop hating on Jay, by the way, because Jay is he's up there for sure. But yeah, anywho, I really love business. I love conducting business. I love being in my own likeness and living or dying by my decisions. And a lot of parents, a lot of elders don't understand that. Parents don't understand. Shout out to Fresh Prince. I made a bad comment on Fresh Prince earlier as a rapper. He has some joints too. I kind of hated on him a little bit, but that's my dog. He's crazy as hell, learning like all of us. But yeah, I'm glad I bet on myself. Like tonight is my residency, Scully Moly Donut Shop. It's my brand. It's the brand that I've been building for a while. And, and it's, man, so interesting how everything kind of aligns in my life from when I started DJing, when I started kind of making moves as an entrepreneur. I realized once I bet on myself, I always will win. Even when it would not always go the way I wanted, I will always win. When I bet on my likeness, when I dived in and was consistent with an idea or a brand, it always went well. It always paid dividends. And that's why I encourage people. I've been encouraging my people and people who tune in. Y'all are all my people. Let me not separate y'all. Y'all are my people. People I work with physically in person, the people I have worked with, the people I will work with, people that will tune in. I encourage all of them. Dig into your likeness, dig into your ideas, your brands, what you want to do, envision it, and put the pieces together. Don't be scared to put the pieces together. You don't have to go with anybody else's thoughts. You could have it exactly the way you want it. And it might not go the way you think, but it probably gonna go better. And that's what I usually do. Like the Scully Moly Donut Shop, man, that's something I was just baked up at the crib, chilling. And just, my mind is always flowing. Like anyone who's been around me a lot, understand my mind's always flowing. Like I might be chill and quiet, but my mind is going. And that's why I suffer from a lot of anxiety because I be at the club putting ideas in my iPhone. I don't really be paying attention, and I just am an idea guy, and I like executing. I'm getting better at execution. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, donut shop was just some random idea. I was just at the crib, and I'm like, dang, people do like donuts. Once I started doing it, people like it. People enjoy that. It's fun. It's nostalgia. It's like flipping like a fictional business. The Holy Moly Donut Shop, the Scully Moly. You know, maybe one day Ice Cube will find out about the Scully Moly Donut Shop and either sue me or invest or both. I'm down for whatever. Ice Cube, you are. And I heard DJ FN say that Ice Cube is the GOAT, and I'm not against that. Tony Ayo said Biggie was the GOAT. But both of them niggas the GOAT. For real, like Ice Cube, the GOAT of the West Coast. Let's be real. Like he really put the West Coast where it needed to be. You know what I'm saying? NWA, like you said, America's Most Wanted. You went back to the East Coast after beefing with Public Enemy, you know, and went crazy. And then, you know, Death Certificate. Then, you know, like he had the We Be Clubbing, like, you know, he was consistent. But then the dude became, like, he was like the LL Cool J of hip hop. LL Cool J don't get enough credit as being the GOAT either. You know, want to start discussing more music takes because I got takes music wise. I do basketball wise too, but that's a whole nother channel. We stand with the music over here because Kinky Elevator Music. And shout out to the other Elevator Music, you know, who's way more popping than me. And they like came out of nowhere and just like got the elevator on smash. Shout out to other Elevator, just Elevator. You know, I knew with Kinky Elevator, I was putting myself in a very niche category. It had kinky in it, so people think of kinky as a like sexual thing, like an inappropriate sexual. Like, oh, you kinky. Like people think of, and stop kink shaming people. People got kinks, but that wasn't even the thought process when I started Kinky Elevator Music. The thought process was kinky as in like kinky, like black, ethnic, kinks. That's what I was thinking. Or unique. Like, oh, dog, your shirt kinky as hell, boy. Like, what is you got on? You know, just kinky stuff. You know, I wasn't thinking anything sexual. It was just unique, experimental Elevator Music. But shout out to Elevator Music. They're killing. They got all of my favorite DJs on there. But, you know, we finna still make stuff shake, you know? And if I listen to other people, I would be discouraged by something like that. I've been discouraged by people. And like my whole life, everyone faces discouragement or what other people can deem as discouragement. But what I'll say is this: take that discouragement and encourage yourself to be as good as you can be, to hone in, to lock in, to stand on your ideas, stand on them, figure it out, take risks, calculated risks though, not just random risks. Take calculated risks, really think about it. And that's what a brother like me do. And I feel like it's been going pretty good. And I'm gonna keep going up. Got a lot going on, got a lot shaking, which is a great thing. You know, my dad tried to make it seem like that was not a good thing. That's a great thing for me because I'm still good. I'm feeling good. I'm working on feeling great. I feel way better than I did my whole life. I'm locked in right now. I'm like really focused, really not taking no BS and flourishing, doing what I want to do, you know, in the most productive way I can, and just, you know, keep doing the events, doing new music, doing mixes, keep on trying to build these brands and make money doing it, you know, and that's never the goal, but it just falls into my life. I got paid to play music on my phone on a boat the other day just because I'm Scully, you know, and that's super dope for me. I opened for Little Dragon recently because of my name, and I played at venues that are amazing, incredible venues, been all over the world, and I'm just getting started. I feel I haven't even scratched the surface, and I know a lot of you artists feel the same way. Write down them ideas, get crazy with it. Think about how you can use your brand, and I appreciate artists that do it. Shout out to Matt Muse, shout out to Renzel, shout out to shout out to my boy Nova again. Shout out. There's a lot of people out here that are doing it, but not enough. You know, especially during these really tough times, you got to bet on yourself. You got to trust yourself to make the right decision. And if you really are feeling like you need guidance, it's right in front of your nose. Dude, there's so many resources out here. Like, this ain't the 70s and 80s, bro. There's resources, credited resources. A lot of research has been done. We're not we over here reinventing the wheel a million times over, but it keeps working. And as long as you're able to provide for your family, for yourself, be happy, be healthy, because tomorrow's not promised. You got to keep moving. You can't rely on no man, no woman. You got to rely on yourself and bet on yourself. It's not as hard as it seems, man. All this stuff ain't rocket science. In rocket science, there's a reason why there's a school for rocket science, too. Because it's learnable. You can learn it if you really want to. Most of the people, out here can learn it. And I'm not saying everybody. That ain't for everybody. Stay in your lane. This DJing stuff is just something that I've always done. This business stuff, this entrepreneurship, this public speaking, this consultation. That's what my family doesn't understand about me. A lot of people don't. It is what it is. But I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to tell my mother's story. I'm going to tell my family's story. My story will be one of those stories that will be talked about forever because it's deep, It's a lot of layers. And we're going to keep on digging. We're doing it for our people, man. So, yeah, man, I love all y'all. I appreciate y'all, whoever tuned in. I know I wasn't as spicy this time. But, I just had a talk. I had that talk with my dad, and me and my dad always have a lot of talks where a lot of times we do butt heads, especially when it's a serious talk. We disagree. We agree to disagree on things. Sometimes it gets heated. But I always leave feeling inspired. That's one thing I can say. For whatever reason, I don't really know his MO, and I'm not trying to assume what it is. I just assume good intent because he's my dad, and I love him. He says he loves me. I think he loves me. I'm sure he does. You don't know what people are feeling and like what their mind is at, so you assume good intent and you make it work. But yeah, I love my dad a lot, man. He's for better or for worse, for good or bad. I pay attention. I'm locked in all the time. I'm a very aware individual. I pick up on things very quickly, and I analyze every room I'm in quick. Every time I'm around, I pick up things. I ask the questions. I attain the knowledge, and I'll continue. And you should do the same. Try to be more present, more aware, more focused. But it's like using your peripheral vision. You can look forward, but still have your peripheral. You can do that with your mind too. You could be juggling a little bit more and making more happen, coming up with more ideas, you feel me? I'm excited for stuff for the future, I got a lot of cool stuff coming through. Check the link tree, I need to get the Kinky Elevator website back up, but in the words of my dad, he the thing he had to understand, I pick up on things. My dad always used to tell me, ask me a question. He's like, how do you eat an elephant? All right, I think I'm back. Yeah, he said his answer. Okay, I'm going to run it back because I don't know if that skipped. But the question he used to ask me is, how do you eat an elephant? And I thought, I don't know. I'm like, first of all, who eats elephants? But then I thought, I thought about it. I knew he meant like slowly, take your time, and one bite at a time. And, that's what I'm doing. I picked that up from him. And I picked up a lot of things from him. A lot of things. How to fold my clothes, how to wash my shoes, how to take care of myself as a man, and I appreciate everything that he's done. My uncles, my aunts, everyone who's been in my life, and y'all have got me to this point where you know I'm, I'm him now, and I'm gonna continue to be that, and I'm gonna grow into it. Raise my family the right way, teach people, put people in the game, put people on. That's what I'm all about. And it's going great. Life is great, baby, and I feel really good right now. But yeah, this is kind of my rant today. It was fun. I'm gonna try to do it more often. I might jam for a little bit. But yeah, tonight we at Cafe Mustache. Anyone who tunes in every third Thursday, and that's been such a blessing. It's kind of crazy to think, like, the first show I did at Cafe Mustache was in May of 2021, the same month my mother passed. Maybe a couple of days after. Yeah, it was real close. It was crazy, but yeah, it was really close. So I did a dedication show for her that night. It was the first show I did at Cafe Mustache, and it was such a beautiful connection of human beings, and I was so supported. And I could think of, the first Coachella I did was right after my grandmother passed. And my grandmother, like my mother, was my dog. Is one of my favorite people. And grandma, I be eating yogurt all the time now. She used to always try to get me to eat yogurt. That's my favorite food now. And she put me on, but I didn't like it then. But, some lessons take a little longer. And, for all you parents out there, for all you mentors, you got to understand, with whoever your mentee is, you got to let go of the reins. You can't get super frustrated and emotional because they want to make their own decisions and want to maneuver their own way. Got to be understanding. And I have to be understanding, too, people who I deal with, who I mentor, who I raise, who I, give advice to. I got to be patient as well. So I got to practice what I preach. Always, I try my best, man. That's all we can do. But yeah, Kinky Elevator, man. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Like, this has been a crazy ride, and I'm just getting started. Like, elevator music might be the people's favorite by ranking, but we coming at y'all, man. I got some stuff coming. I got some budgets. I know y'all some rich white people, but I'm about to be a rich black person with a lot of ideas. I wrote down my 300. Have you wrote down your 300? Have you started? Yeah, because I got mine. I'm ready for action. I'm networking. I'm doing what it do and stay true. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sango, on the beat, man. I'm rapping with a turban. Rolling in a black Suburban and I'm swerving. Hey, it's bumping out the Yamaha speakers. I'm a geeker, Nike on my sneaker. I got my bong in the corner. Man, keep it real cordial when you with a winner. Hey, I drink my water and my chicken for dinner. Man, I keep it delivered. I got my protein and liver. Hey, make that quiver. Hey, put the headphones in it. Hey, I'm rolling and I'm riding while you hiding. I'm flying. It's straight off the dome like a lid's cap. Man, you better get back. Man, you better get that. Man, you better get an autograph before it get too hectic out in the streets. Hey, I got the Nikes on my feet still. May switch it up, Saucony as well. Man, you could go to hell, Balenciaga on my back. Not today though, but yesterday though. Man, I got the payroll and it's going okay though. Roll it up like an egg roll. Hey, man, you better do it because I fucking say so. And that's how I'm going to end it. You better do it because I say so. You should listen to me. I got some good advice. And shout out to my pops, man. Happy birthday. Shout out to all them people. Kinky Elevator, baby. And we gone.